Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/JuCowFTW.
Check out our blog where you can listen and download our shows at jucowftw.blogspot.com.
And find us on iTunes by simply searching for Jucow's Podcast Kingdom.
And submit your questions to us at ask.fm/Jucow. We will answer them all each week on Undressed to Impress with a Girl.
Welcome to PSYCOW. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Stacy.
And this week we are joined once again by the one and only Chad Crawford Kinkle. We've been promoting the hell out of Jug Face because it really is a great movie.
And we wanted to kind of talk to Chad one-on-one to get an update on how Jug Face is going out in the field and talk to him about all the goodies and all the stories he has while being out there.
Yes, now that it's closer to the video-on-demand release in July, we can kind of openly talk about the movie a little more. We were kind of censored a little bit last time, obviously. I mean, can't give out details. But we don't talk about the movie, really. It's more or less about the convention scene, and he's traveling around. He's going to Madrid.
And he was in Scotland.
I'm going to make a movie just so I can travel.
Yeah, let's just follow him.
Yes. So without further ado, here's the follow-up to our interview with Chad Crawford Kinkle.
What inspired Jug Face?
It was a trip to this pottery museum in the North Georgia mountains. My wife's aunt and uncle live very close to this site, and we had gone there for like a trip, and they were saying, "Hey, let's go check out this new museum. You know, it costs millions of dollars. You know, and it's just folk pottery." And I was not excited because I studied a lot of pottery in school in art school, and like I was just like, that's not going to be fun. But anyway, so we got there, and that's when I first saw a face jug, and they were hideous and grotesque and creepy and surreal, and I just loved them. My immediate thought then was, oh man, I need to have one of these. Like, where can I get them, you know? And as I was walking around the exhibit, because the whole museum is just set up for folk pottery and particularly face jugs. So I was over at this video of this potter, and he was talking about the process of making face jugs, and like it just like watching him do that, my mind saw this possessed potter, and actually it was a pit was speaking to him, and he was getting clay from it, and then he was making this face jug of a girl, and I kind of knew in my mind, oh, that's someone that lives in that community. And so then, the story just kind of like spun out of that. You know, that's all I basically thought of at that moment. And then I wrote it down. And then when I finally decided I was going to look back at that, I started, thinking about what was going on from that initial inspiration.
There's an antique shop here in town that I go to all the time, and they had a face jug, and it was apparently by some famous artist. I don't know artists of face jugs. But it was amazing. Like, you're right, though. They're very strange and very creepy looking. But I had to have it, but it was just way, way, way too much money. They're very expensive.
Well, how much was that one?
It was $95.
Oh, well, no, that's pretty cheap.
Really? For a jug?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've looked them up on eBay, and there's some on there that are, like, extremely creepy looking. And I really want them. Like, the more creepier it is, I'm like, I kind of want that.
That's the horror side of us.
Yeah, definitely. The more the collector, the older ones, particularly from the guys that are like dead now, like Lanier Metters, they go for like $1,000 a piece.
Wow.
Wow.
And then, but if you were to get one just from someone making it now, it depends on like how complex the face is. But they can range from 80 to, 300, also depending on the size. And that's pretty average. I mean, if you find them below 80, like for $60 or $40, that is like a deal and a half. I mean, that's like almost unheard of.
Yeah.
But that's generally people who aren't really, big yet. Their names aren't big yet. And once their name starts growing, then they can start charging more. So
$94 might as well be $1,000 to me, though.
oh, really? Okay.
So Jug Face has been touring around all over the place. How has the experience been with the touring movie?
It's been crazy and great and tiring and exciting. It's been more of a mix of emotions than I would have thought, but for sure it's been awesome because each audience, they view the movie differently. So I've sat there with them every time and watched it and have been surprised by like where they would react where other people wouldn't, or like there's one part in the movie, it's not a spoiler because it's in the description, that the main character Ada she has a love affair with her brother, and you don't get that until a little bit into the movie. And I was sitting particularly in Scotland, and I could tell when that moment was coming up, no one had any idea. Like you could just feel the tension it just wasn't there. And so when that moment happened, it was really funny because, you saw people kind of straighten up and like, laugh a little bit and then kind of turn to each other like, did he just say brother? So that's been awesome. And it's just surreal. I mean, it's like really exposing to go kind of show your movie to these people that don't know you. But it's really rewarding too because they all like it and they come up and tell me things, and actually in Scotland it was wild as this person showed up and they had pictures of me printed out already for me to autograph. That was wild. I was like, okay.
Get used to that.
Yeah, get used to it.
I mean, I get the whole signing like the program where it says the movie. I was just totally caught off guard, seeing like my photograph, and one was another photograph that was just taken of me at Slam Dance during one of the press things, and I was just like, I think I've seen that photograph once months ago and forgot about it, so I was just kind of like shocked like that he had found this obscure picture of me for me to sign.
Some random candid shot
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah, and also on that same sort of tangent, when I was in Calgary, someone came up to me and they're like, "Oh man, I really love your original short," and I'm like, I looked at him because that's not out. It's on Vimeo, but it's password protected, and I've been giving it to people at festivals just because I want to show them the short that helped me get Jug Face made. And he was like, yeah, I found it on like a download site. Like someone basically that I gave it to passed it around, and someone else recorded off their computer screen my short with like, another camera.
Right.
Which I was just standing there like blown away that had happened.
Your first moment of piracy.
Yeah, it was random. It was like my short. But I guess people look online, they see, okay, I've only done, 2 things, my 2 credits, and one's a short. So, the guy just searched for it and found it, which is pretty wacky. But
Where do you think Jug Face, in your opinion, has had the best response? Is there one place in particular where everybody really liked it?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's a good. I think really every audience in a way has liked it the same almost. I don't know if it's played better at other places other than the fact that, well, like we had it here in Nashville and it played at like the Nashville Film Festival, and they rent out like a Regal theater, like the whole bottom floor. So that was probably the nicest theater that I'd been in. And it was like the biggest and loudest that I'd seen it. And
Nice.
that played because it's like a normal theater and so in stadium seating, so it played really well there. But also in the audience was a bunch of people that I knew, and people, my family that's in the movie were there. So obviously that was a good vibe from the audience.
Are you going to be taking the movie to any conventions around where we are? I know we're going to Horror Hound in Indianapolis. Do you think that you might join us there to promote Jug Face?
I may be there, but as far as like the movie itself, since it's coming out in the States and on VOD in July,
right?
That's so soon that I won't be doing anything else in the States, and so.
Okay.
Where's been your favorite place that you've been touring so far?
Well, I mean, like I said, they're all unique, and I have different moments in all of them. But what's weird is that we premiered at Sundance. Sorry, Slam Dance. I generally tell people, I talk about the event up there as being Sundance because it is mostly Sundance, but I played at Sundance. So anyway, but like showing there was really awesome. But then it took a few festivals for it to sink in, and I think I was in Boston watching it, and I kind of in the middle of the movie, I thought to myself, oh man, like I've really done something here. I've like made. It finally clicked that I had made a movie, so that was really cool. But my favorite by far was in Scotland at Dead by Dawn. That is like a really, really special festival where it's in one building, one theater, and it's like an art house theater, and in the bottom there's like a restaurant with a bar, and so everyone just goes to this one building all day long. And, you hang downstairs and you drink with people, you eat with people, and then everyone goes upstairs to watch whatever movie's going to be playing. And the way Adele, the lady who runs it, programs it's really smart too. She puts in older movies as well, mixed in with the newer ones. And so basically, like before my movie played Cronenberg's The Brood, so I saw that on 35, that's one of my favorite movies. So I was and at one hand I was so excited to see it, and on the other hand I was like, why did you put my movie after that? I can't go after The Brood.
Was that the same? Was that the one Frank Henenlotter was at too?
Right. Yeah. So we watched Basket Case and A Brain Damage with him. So that was really cool. And that theater is like an older theater, but it's like perfect. It's like really tight. The seats really tight together, and it seats about 300. And the screen actually, what hangs in front of it is like, a red velvet curtain, really immaculate. And before every movie, it opens and closes all the way, so it opens all the way up. So it's like, it's like presenting the movie as if, and the way it should be is that you're about to see something special. You're about to be treated to something. It's not just whatever. So it was just overall just a really amazing experience.
Well, with like you said, Jug Face coming out on VOD in July, how excited are you for your first big release with our friends at Modern Cinema, with Andrew and everything?
Yeah, well, Andrew was like, asked me about it, and he could hear in my voice, like, not that, just something weird, and it's terrifying. I mean, to know, because so far maybe 600 people total have seen the movie, maybe that, but once it's available on VOD, nationwide, it's going to be literally in every accessible through every cable box, and that's millions and millions of people, so that's like really terrifying.
The movie is amazing, though. I mean, we're pretty critical people when Stacey and I review movies, and we couldn't stop talking about Jug Face for months, and we were telling everybody, you have to see it when it's available. I mean, it really is a great film. It's nothing like you've ever seen before. It's a completely fresh story.
Right, and what's cool, kind of on that same way, is when people go into the movie. This is another thing back to the festivals and like their reaction to it. They go into it not expecting that movie.
Right.
They're thinking, since the title is Jug Face, they're literally thinking slasher, and they're thinking backwoods, just basically like every other backwoods horror movie that you've seen. And what's weird is like when it first premiered at Slam Dance, a friend of mine watched it, and it's this girl, and I really like her a lot. And like afterwards, she just had this look on her face, and I thought to myself, oh no, she hated it. Like, cause she looked, I don't know, I couldn't read into what it meant, but it was definitely either disturbed or disappointed. Like, I was like for sure that was it. Until it played again, and this was in Arkansas, and then some other people that I'd met there like had the same look on their face, and then they kept asking me questions about it, and I realized it wasn't because they thought it was crappy or they were disappointed. It was because they were kind of blown away by what it actually was, because they weren't expecting that.
Yeah, I've been reading and hearing nothing but pretty positive reviews and responses for Jug Face. Was there any review in particular that you're really excited to read?
They're really hard for me to read. When I say I read them, I scan them quickly. Like I literally, my brain can't sit there and think about what they're saying totally. It's just like a weird thing. It's because it's like a defense mechanism or something. But, like I really, the sites I read are the ones I always care about. Like, Fangoria. There's one called All Things Horror that I really like. And then there's one called, Brutal as Hell. And that's like, I kept wondering like, when would I get a review from them? And they were actually in England, and they were actually at the Scotland one, and they reviewed it after that. And that was a really, really amazing review. And that kind of blew me away because I really respect them and everything. So that was really cool.
Well, you were saying that Jug Face is done touring the U.S. Is there anywhere outside of the U.S. that you're planning on going next?
Well, yeah, the next one is in Madrid, and that's in just a week and a half, and I'll be out there for that. And then in the fall, I think there are going to be some more, but I don't know exactly which ones that they'll will actually pan out. So
I want to go to Madrid. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the really great perk of this is that a lot of the festivals have enough money to send, to get the director to come out, and they'll generally pay for most of it. So that's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
When it comes to the writing for the story of Jug Face, was there any person in particular that really influenced you in their style of writing for the film?
Well, I mean, I generally talk about Shirley Jackson and her story, The Lottery. I read that in maybe 7th grade, and it like really had a profound effect on me because I felt that the small community that I lived in Tennessee, like that could happen, that people would stone each other, and it would, and I just felt I could just understand the sort of community mentality and how that could become twisted. And so, that's what I talk about. And then, like, I don't know if like anything really more modern directly influenced it, other than every horror movie that I've ever seen. People, they're like, they mention that I use archetypes, or I use things that you see in other horror movies as well. And of course, because that's the history, and that's what I think about when I think about horror movies, or these different things like a ghost story and things like that. So,
were any of the characters loosely based on anyone that you might know, or were they just completely created in your mind?
Not really. I mean, I can say like I've known different people that are kind of like Dwight.
Right.
So, but no one really directly. I mean, he just. So.
Is there anything in recent horror news that you are excited about?
In recent horror news.
Have you had time to even know what's going on in recent horror?
Yeah, no
all the
kidding.
traveling.
Well, I mean, I'm always excited to see what everyone else is doing. Like I still haven't actually gotten to see the new Evil Dead.
I haven't either, so it's okay.
Open
So
tonight.
I've been kind of busy with that, but like I don't know, I'm kind of interested to see what the American Mary.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of good things about that, and yeah, I mean, I try to keep with everything that's coming out, but there's quite a backlog with all the traveling and the work I've been doing lately. So
With American Mary, they were saying it's one of the goriest movies you ever see, and they were saying the trailer was really hardcore. And I watched the trailer, and I don't think anything happened in it, but it does look interesting.
oh really? Yeah, yeah. I'm expecting it to be pretty gory, but
That's what I'm going for.
yeah.
Well, in your travels, I don't know if you had time to, but have you seen any movies recently that you'd want to talk about? That
Yeah, definitely. One, well, actually, a few, but one in particular is called The Battery, and that's this like kind of zombie movie. It's like a buddy movie, but it's like a zombie movie, and they made it for like $7,000, and it's really genuine and good, and then so I met those guys in Scotland, so that was really cool. That's a good one. And then there's one called Motivational Growth, and that's a really strange one. It's horror, but it's more like dark fantasy, and it's about this guy who lives in his apartment and doesn't want to leave, and then his TV breaks, and he kind of has a meltdown, and the mold in his bathroom starts talking to him.
oh wow,
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds amazing.
yeah,
It's very brain damage-ish. So if you've ever seen Brain Damage,
Oh yeah.
it's similar to that, and but really unique and good. So those have been two kind of the standouts that I've seen. I actually also the other one's really good is Cheap Thrills. I saw that in Boston. That was really amazing.
that's
And
one
then
of the big perks to see movies like that. I'd love to be able to. We can't have that where I am. We just get big blockbusters that I don't care about.
yeah, well, I mean, I even when I go to these festivals, I try to watch movies, but I end up like pulled away to do something else. So I'm really not even getting to really enjoy. I watch my movie and like generally one other movie is what I'll get to do.
So what's in the future for you? Any new stories, ideas, or films?
Yeah, I mean, I've got two screenplays right now that I'm trying to finish one up, but kind of like to coincide with the release of Jug Face. And then I have another one that I'll probably start right after that. So hopefully by Christmas, I'll have these two other screenplays done. One's like a bigger budget, and one's a smaller one. And of course, they're both my sort of Southern Gothic horror thing. So
You definitely got to come back on when you're working on it so you can talk about it more.
okay.
I know it's the beginning stages, obviously, so you can't spill too much about it, but when you start working on it and you can release some information, you got to come back on. Because we love Jug Face, like I said.
Yeah.
So
I look very forward to anything else.
yeah, we're the kind of people that when we find someone we like, we stick with them with whatever they make.
Awesome. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you can make the Saved by the Bell movie, and I'll be all right.
I think anyone can make that and I'd be all right. That sounds awesome.
The goal is to go up.
Yeah.
to do better.